Hey, it's time for Point and Shoot. This week we take a look at rusty photos. Not rusty as in we need more practice, but real deal rust. It's pretty neat when we take a look at it. We'll get into texture and structure and all of that good stuff in the wonderful world of smartphone photography. Check it out.
Welcome to the Smartphone Photographers Weekly Hangout, brought to you by the Smartphone Photographers Google community. And we get together once a week and discuss our smartphone photography, other general photography, and the usual challenge for the week. I am Joey Kelley, Smartphone Photographers community member. With me tonight are Mr. Michael King, Mr. Michael Sweeney, and group owner Mr. Ant Pruitt. Ant, how you doing tonight?
Man, I am unbelievable as always. Feel like I got a snotty nose, but I'm just going to sit back over here and be quiet the whole night.
Taking a cue from something I never do, that will be Ant. Mr. King, how are you this evening down in Tejas, as Ant would say?
Well, today the high was in the 90s, but right now the low is dropped all the way down to about 73. It's supposed to get in the mid-60s tonight, so it's really good. But we had to pay the price. We had a storm come through that really tore up everything.
Well, hopefully nothing of yours got torn up. But speaking of tearing things up, how's the fire situation out there in California, Mike? Sweeney?
No, it's going great guns in a couple locations. Yeah, but we'll survive.
Nothing near you, I hope.
Nothing near me. Nothing near me. My only real complaint is I'm just feeling a little rusty in the morning.
That'll work. So, gentlemen, shall we dive into the challenge for this week, if no one has any objections?
Please.
Do it.
All right. So let's take a look at actually one of the later entries that shot up fairly fast in the ratings. That would actually be the very last on the lower bottom there, the chain link fence. Mm-hmm. This is from one of our new, well, pardon me, no, I got my name's mixed up. This is Kimberly McNair. And I have to admit, this one really caught my eye. It's the last photo that was submitted, and I really liked it.
Yeah, she's been around for a little while now. I don't know what she used. I know it's one of those Galaxy phones. I'm thinking an S3. But yeah, good stuff here, man. I love the way she's got this depth of field thing going here. The focus of it is just pretty daggum sharp. And again, there's not only the rust with the chain, but rust with the fence post, and you can even see a little rust back here in the actual fencing itself. Looks pretty good. And I like the crop of it.
That's a Galaxy S3, by the way, according to the camera name.
All right.
Mr. King, what do you think?
It's not bad. I like it. I like the whole thing. You just see the nice focus on the chain up front, but you can see the fence itself, how it's rusted, and the rusting on the main pole. So it looks good. I like it.
And Mr. Sweeney, any
and here
impressions?
comes the complaints.
It's not a complaint. It's a criticism.
There we go. There's a difference, damn it.
It's an opportunity to learn.
Damn right. Tell it.
So, I don't like the crop. I think she's got a good picture, but I think this is one of those pictures that could actually benefit from a square crop. And what I would do is I'd trim off the top right where that link is, and then I would square it up. If you got your handy dandy, there you go. A little more there, perfect, right there. Because what it's going to do is it gives you a little bit of the blur in the corner. You get the blurred background, and then you've got the rust right where your eyeball wants to settle at, because you got the diagonals from the fence, you got the vertical from the post, you got a diagonal from both sides of the links, and it all comes together right at that center point there. I would also crank the clarity up really hard and probably add a small vignette to knock down that bright corner. Again, the center point is the rust, and that's what you want to emphasize.
Mm-hmm.
But from composition, I love the composition. So my quibbles are the post-processing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I apologize. I kind of skipped over you, Ann, on that one. What do you think? Do you agree with Mr. Sweeney's square cropping?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done a square crop. I would have just shaved off this side here a little more, right there, because of that blowout, and just left it with a more vertical crop. But the square crop looks good too, because it does line it up to where you get your actual focal point of rust being, bullseyed in a sense.
Well, for what it's worth, I agree with both of you. I probably would not have done a square crop myself because I just don't think of that format. But I would have definitely come in from the left because of the same blowout that you mentioned, Dan. But you're right, Sweeney. That square really does add to this, and I like the way that the eyeball is pulled with the horizontals. Or the diagonals to pull right to the center. So I agree with you.
I would encourage everybody, when you take your picture and you start goofing around with it, play with the cropping. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't think you want to crop it, play with it, because you might be pleasantly surprised sometimes what might pop out at you.
Indeed.
It reminds me of a quote from the Bard, actually. To crop or not to crop? That is a question.
It's starting.
Jeez. So here we go. One of these days we'll have to do Ant will have to keep track of all of the manufactured Shakespearean quotes during a hangout instead of puns. All right. So great effort, Kimberly. I think this one would have done better had it been submitted earlier.
Yeah.
Probably. We had a lot this week we had 20 photos this week, which is really, really good, by 12 people. And a lot of the photos are in the 3 to 5 category for voting. So that's actually, I think this may be the most participation we've seen in at least a while, the ones that I've been involved with recently. Speaking of which, let's take a look at one of the early front runners from my good friend Matt Lee, the GMC grill here. That I'll admit, I'm just a gearhead. I love old trucks, so you had me at GMC. But we gave him some feedback, and he went back and tightened it up a little bit on a different shot, that one there. But I actually think, just for my purposes, I think he didn't go far enough on the cropping.
Indeed.
I feel like he could have done even a square crop, as Mike was mentioning on that previous one, or even if he'd just gone with a standard rectangular crop, I would have tightened right in on the GMC and the corrosion just above it and those grills.
That's exactly
so this gets into the whole conversation about, as a photographer, what is your subject? Is it the broad subject of the front end of the truck? In this case, we're talking about rust. So, where in that broad subject of a truck front end is your actual subject at? And that's where cropping's your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. King, what do you think?
I would have come at the very top of that grill. I would have come before you got to the grill. I would have cropped down there where you don't see the headlight. I then would have come on to the other side of the grill, come straight down, and then cropped it just under that GMC, the bar underneath it, and that's about as far. That's where I would have left it.
Yeah, I agree. From the second shot that he posted, I would have come in more from the left. Yeah, exactly.
You need to come over just a little bit, Ant, to get the right there. Yeah. And I would have then cropped down to that. I would have left it right there like that. That would have been just fine.
Yeah, that doesn't look bad, but I almost think that with all of the other angles and the squared offness, a square crop, like Sweeney was suggesting earlier, might actually be the way to go with this one, because I think it would have worked very well if you come up with
it. Keep in mind, you can always rotate the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I have found sometimes that a few degrees of rotation can really add to the drama of a picture.
Yep.
Come up just a little more. Come up just under that G. Right there.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect right that.
Yeah.
That's the way I would have liked it.
Yep.
I'd still like to see the contrast and clarity punched up on this. I mean, in my mind, when we're shooting pictures of rust, it's all about texture and color.
You should want to feel the rest
you really
of your
want to,
fingers,
you want to feel that texture.
I agree.
Well, speaking of texture, let's have a look at our one of several three-way, it's 3 or 4-way ties. Mr. Sweeney shot here with 5 votes, and you want to talk about texture. I voted for this one very early on because of the incredible amount of texture that is in this. This is, I bow down in front of my webcam as usual to the Sweeney.
I actually shot this on the soccer field of all places.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about the story of the shot, if you would.
So, all my girls play soccer, and so we're always, at practice lately. And this one particular field, they've got lighting, but the lighting is not what you think. It's not built into the field. It's actually 3 of these portable generator-run lighting arrangements, and they've actually been there for so long that they've literally got weeds growing up through them, and they have rusted in place. And this is the actual covering on one of the generators. It's been there so long that this is what's happened to the paint.
Wow.
Does the generator still work?
Good grief.
Yeah, they run them every week.
That says a lot right there, man. It's rusted down.
Well, either way, these generators are definitely not up with the current technology.
No,
oh my gosh,
not even close.
This which iPhone was this with, Sweeney?
That one would have been probably the 6, if I remember right.
What is that? I've never seen this before. You see that? Arbonne?
That's the name. Yeah, that's my 6.
Okay. I've never seen that.
Well, it's the name of the phone. That's my work phone.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, they were kind enough to give me a little 16 gig iPhone 6.
Okay.
And then the 5S is my personal phone.
Okay. Nice.
Do you find that there's a huge difference in the camera quality, or are there just more subtleties?
No, there's almost no difference in camera. I tend to shoot with the 6 only because I like shooting with the bigger screen. I find it easier to compose and really be able to see what the hell I'm doing. Now, how much of that is the camera, and how much is that of just having eyes of a certain age?
Yeah.
All I can say is I prefer shooting with the 6 because of the screen size, but the final output doesn't really seem to matter one way or another.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't know why, but every time I look at this picture, I think bacon. It just makes me think of bacon. Very crunchy, very rusty, extremely high in mineral content bacon.
That's right. Get your iron for the day.
Oh yeah, that'll get you your iron for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And
Joey, I thought of burned. I thought of burned cheese on a pan.
Okay. Yep. I could go for that. Yeah, I see where you're going. With that.
So I guess this qualifies as feeling the texture.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Struck all kind of emotions, man. Now, what I like this shot. I don't like this as much as I've liked some of Sweeney's other shots, but the whole idea of having the texture in there is where I give him the props. I guess this is just where your focal point is, because it sort of looks like it blurred down here in the bottom a little bit.
Yep. Okay. That's all in camera blur, by the way.
Right.
So not a lot of post on this one, Mike?
Oh, there's a fair amount. The clarity got driven really hard.
Saturation, maybe?
Saturation got pushed up a bit.
Okay. Nice.
And
Mike,
actually, if I'm not mistaken, I probably threw a mixtures filter on there, too, to amplify the color a bit.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
I need to find a mixtures alternative on Android. Just because of the way it gives you a different feel.
Oh, that. Aside from Snapseed, that's my second go-to app. Yeah, so Snapseed Mixtures, I'm a happy man.
All right, Mr. King, what did you think?
It's rust. As I said, it looked like something was about ready to go in the junkyard. It's rusty, and I like that.
That's hilarious.
And you can see the layers of it. It's just great. But I said, it looks like it's something it's had better days.
It has had better days, frankly speaking.
It is a great shot. I just like it.
Well, there'll be days like this, my Rust Mama said. Anyway, but sorry, that was a stretch. That is, I gotta say, like,
don't let your kids grow into be rust piles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Rust away.
Oy vey.
Don't rust away with me.
Yeah, and then we can all rusties with Lightning McQueen here real quick. Yeah, so there you go. There's an analogy that not everyone's gonna get.
Rust Wars.
Yeah. Here we go, racing the Piston Cup. Anyway, before we go on to the winning shot, does anybody want to look at any of the others specifically?
I actually like the one that's got the rusty hole in it.
Yeah, that's another good one. It got quite a few votes.
Rusty hole.
It had 4.
Right here? No.
No, it's
almost center of the screen. Yeah.
It's center. Right there. One over to your.
There you go. Too far.
Yep. Too far. Next one over.
Can you
That
not see the hole?
No.
I like this shot.
That is a rusty hole.
Okay.
That is another one that's rust.
Well, that's actually our winning shot that I was try to avoid, but okay.
Well, let's come back. Never mind. Come back. There are some others. I like this one here from you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be nominated. This one was an interesting. I learned an awful lot on this shot personally. No, really, I did because I've.
Is that the bottom sway bar?
No, that is actually the exhaust manifold.
Is it really?
Yep, of one half of the 3 cylinders worth out of a V6 engine underneath a Chrysler minivan.
Nice.
Yep, and up here in Maine, we have so much salt on the roads that a lot of stuff like this starts to corrode first. It's one of the reasons why we have so many cars that have stainless steel exhaust systems up here, because they don't rust. But this one does not. And this is actually the backstory. I was actually helping this gentleman change out an alternator, so I had to get underneath the car to get to a third bolt. So while I was down there, I'm napping away pictures.
Because we take our phones under cars, that's just what we do, right?
That's right.
And this is the light source that you're seeing off the left is actually a single LED work light powered by a battery that I picked up at Harbor Freight Tools. So yes, we're talking about high-end photography equipment here, folks. The picture was taken with the HDR mode of the Nexus 6, and then all the post was done in Snapseed. The most obvious edit was I drew an oval around it and blurred everything else behind the exhaust pipe. But I actually took a tip from Mr. Sweeney and cranked the structure up twice. Yep, up to 100%. And that really popped it out.
So you cranked it up, hit save, and then cranked it up again?
Yes, and hit save. Yep, gotcha. and it worked. And by the way, Ant, I don't know if you've noticed this, and maybe it's just because I never tried it before, but have you noticed that on your Nexus 6 you can't shoot in HDR mode with the flash on?
I haven't tried it because I tried not to turn my flash on ever.
Yep. Well, I turned it on. I actually was out shooting a couple of items that were in a very dark area. I had to use the flash to get enough illumination to get anything to come out. And I had it in HDR mode, which is where I tend to leave it, and realized that I couldn't turn the flash on. I had to turn the HDR off, and then I could turn the flash on. And I don't know if that
makes sense, though.
It does and it doesn't. It would, from one standpoint, it does, in that it's almost impossible to do virtual HDR with the flash or actual HDR.
That's not true.
I said virtually.
No.
I didn't say it was possible.
You just got to get the right app called ACDC.
Good point.
You're showing that off.
Because ACDC will let you shoot with the flash and without, and then merge the two together however you wish.
Now that
Very
okay.
slick. It's a very slick app.
Yeah. All right, now that's okay. So let me rephrase that. With the stock camera app, it's not possible. I didn't try it with Open Camera. I probably should have, but I didn't. And it didn't occur to me at that particular moment. I was more interested in getting the picture. But anyway, so that was a early front runner in the first shot I posted, actually, and I'm quite happy with it.
I like this one a lot, Joey. I would have cropped it down tighter. I have no problem with the blur, but I don't think you need all of this down here. I don't think you need all of that up there. You know?
I disagree, Ant.
I would cut it off right about here. Maybe.
No, you need that.
And
I like that negative space he's got going on there.
Cut it right
I do
out
too.
there.
I think the picture as it is just great. Both the top and bottom. I like the way everything focused in right in the middle. But yeah, you need that negative space.
See, I like it if it was a little tight.
Mr. Sweeney, you agree with the negative space?
I do. Negative space is king. And in this particular instance, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Did you just actually say you liked one of my photos?
I did. I prefer to see a square crop on it, but I like the negative space.
So this is live on air, and he's saying that. All right.
And it's recorded if he gets it right.
Yeah, and write that down, please.
We got it
I
taped.
want to put that in my bio for my memoirs.
We got
Maybe
it
link to one of my
now.
pictures on this date.
Accidents will happen.
Love you too, Mike. Anyway,
A pig
the
found an
romance is
acorn.
going well tonight. Anyway, Mr. King, any other thoughts on this one?
No, I like it. It's a good picture.
No, thank you. I'll take the compliment. And Mr. Sweeney, you said that you would have done it with a square crop?
I think so. I would play with square crop just to see.
Excuse
I
me.
think that actually, I'm going to have to start playing with square cropping because it's not something that
And
I've done
what's
a lot of.
interesting about it is I would have done the square along the bottom. And the reason I would start there is you've got that blurred pulley at the top. If you did the square on the bottom, you'd get the blurred bracket on the bottom almost in the same place. Oh, there's our official tool. A little more. Yeah, about right there.
See, that's what I said. I would crop it right about there.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going with it.
You know, like I said, I'd kind of play with it and see, what would come from it. Maybe crop a couple different ways. But overall, I like the picture.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, upon retrospective, I'm going to have to go back and recrop that and see what I think about it after I've recropped.
Because, again, remember,
There it
you're
gets
talking about texture, so you want to make sure your focal point is the texture.
True, which is why I blurred it. I mean, as shot, this was completely in focus from all the way from top to bottom, pretty much.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Hey, Ant, can you zoom a little more?
Mm-hmm. My pleasure. Because I like the tighter shot.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about, playing with it, because as you kind of really crank it in, now you're picking up that cool texture.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
And you've got the pulley going on with its own little lines right there.
Yeah.
I think what you have here is one of those nifty pictures that you could do it a couple different ways, and it comes down to personal taste. Either way is a good picture. It's just personal taste at this point.
A shot within a shot.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that this might not be a bad one for a black and white conversion either, but
it might
I
not
felt
be.
but then again, I was also looking for the coloration of the rust. But I think that maybe the black and white would make even more contrast pop, and that
Maybe.
might even look better. I don't know. Tell you what, what
You
we'll do.
know what might actually work well in this
Mm.
is a cross processing filter, because it tends to bleed out a lot of the color, but
Mhm.
not all of it. It
Okay,
leaves just
yeah.
a smidgen of color to
Yep.
it.
Yeah, a washed out kind of feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll tell you what we'll do for those of you that are members of the smartphone community. I'll take this one. I'll take this version and I'll pull it back off here on one of my PCs, and I'll start washing it through a couple of different crops, and I'll post the results on the
Good
group,
idea.
and we can continue to discuss it.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it. I am kind of curious now about doing a black and white on it too, just to see how that looks. All right, well, I suppose since we already brought it up once, we'll talk about the whole shot, according to everyone. Now, I'm going to admit this is my winning shot. I apparently have won this week with
And
6 votes.
congratulations.
Thank you. This is not an inside job. There has been no financial compensation
Your
to
money's
do
on the
anything.
way.
Yeah, I was going to say checks in the mail, King. Thank you. No, but this is a very heavily edited shot. This is one of my shots that I think benefited the most from being pushed after shooting. This was all done in Snapseed. It is not actually cropped. It is just color edited, punched up saturation, tweaked the brightness, emphasized on the contrast, and I think that's about it. Yeah, saturation, contrast, and a little bit of a brightness tweak too.
No structure.
Yeah, no structure enhancement that I recall.
Wow.
I think because I only did 4,
Wow.
and
Get the feel of
saturation,
this, man.
contrast, brightness. Yeah, well, maybe a structure. Might have been a structure too.
Look at the feel
I
of it.
think
That's good stuff, Joey.
Yeah. But what would you have done different, Ant?
I can't think of anything. My original gut told me back when I first voted on it was, excuse me. I guess it might have been just the phone screen, because back here this looked like a cartoon, but right now when I look at it, it just looks faded, blurred away. So it looks fine, but I can't say I'd do anything any different on it. I like it, brother.
Thank you, Mr. King. Thoughts?
I like it too. It's what was it?
This is one corner of a main central passenger car roof. It's
I
roughly
kinda thought-
100 years old.
I kind
Give or
of
take.
thought that's what it was.
Yep.
I just wasn't 100% sure because it looked like a train car, but
Yep. And I shot this leaning out of the locomotive cab window. And I want to say for the record that we were not in motion at the time. I was not committing any safety violations by utilizing electronic devices, which is something the Federal Railroad Administration frowns on. But we were static at this point when I was taking the picture. But yeah, I'm about 14 or so feet up in the air, give or take 10. No, probably not quite that bad. 8 feet up, probably off the ground. And I took actually several shots. As a matter of fact, let me show you the unprocessed version. I apologize, I did not have this ready. Let's see here. Screen share. Where's my screen share?
Well, if it were me, I'd lose the green grass of home there in the background.
Okay, all right. So you just crop it into from the left a little.
The left-hand top, actually.
Left-hand top. So tighten in on the spot of
Yep.
rust.
Yeah, because the
Okay.
spot's really the interest, and I find the green kind of distracting.
Okay. Let's see. This is the original. Hold on, right there. That's the original as shot.
Wow, big difference.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. Huge difference.
Damn, Joe. You put some
And
work
there it
in
is,
that.
edited. Edited, not edited.
Good shot, man.
It almost looks like a black and white. In a way, it almost it's because it's very, very, very faded, and then when you hit it here, it's just punched up, in all dimensions. But to give you an idea of the angle, the spot of rust is actually right here where my mouse is, that we saw earlier as a tight shot, and this is the wide angle looking down. from the same viewpoint. And there's the wide angle looking down the length of the car. So,
I like that car.
oh, you should see the inside. It's beautiful inside. We're still working on the outside.
Yeah,
as you can tell.
Yeah, it looked like a Pullman, so it's gonna be really nice. I like. Of course, I like railroad cars, as you may well know.
Yeah, I kind of figured. But this was another one of the shots that I almost used, but I didn't feel that it had the contrast that the other shot, this one, had, even before I punched the color up and whatnot. So Mike, you were saying come in from lose the upper left, was it?
He stepped away.
He stepped away. There was someone. I heard someone banging on the door, and the doorbell go off a couple of times.
Well, hopefully it's
It's all
just
good.
hopefully it's just your local friendly Amway salesman.
If you hear shots fired, it's, you know something else.
Yeah.
Good stuff, though, Joe.
But that was a good shot.
Oh, thank you.
What kind of engine were you on?
That was in the cab of a General Electric 70-ton locomotive number 50.
Okay.
Original to the railroad.
Nerds.
Well, you gotta be nerdy about something. So anyway, all right. So I guess it's on me to come up with the next challenge for next week. So I guess I'll send myself a message to let myself know that I need to do that.
Yeah, you're right ahead to do that.
Yeah, or maybe not. Oh, you're back, Sweeney.
I'm back.
You were saying come in from the upper left, was it, and crop that out?
Yeah, like I said, I found the green a little distracting. That's a personal thing.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me jump back in there and let's look at it.
Just zoom it.
Hold on.
There you go, Joey. Check that out.
Yeah, that's better. I wouldn't necessarily want to lose the edge there on the left. Because I like that round edge you got going on.
Yep.
But I actually like that better, where you can really see the detail.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Joey, that's a good shot, though, bro.
I think a lot of the time, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, oftentimes I think of cropping as one of two things. Either there's something in the shot that I don't want in it, and I'm trying to crop it out, or I've failed to shoot it correctly and got something in there. So I try to do as much framing as possible within the camera.
That's just ignorance.
Yeah. Oh, he had to get one in. He had to get one in.
Joey, I got to tell you, Joey, I went through this just a couple of weeks ago with some of my shooting, and it was one of my moon shots that I was able to get with the Sony cam.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it after it was shot and thought, that'll be okay. And when I got on the computer and looked at it, I was like, wow, that's a nice clear shot, but it just didn't do anything for me.
Right, kind of missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the moon. And so I took it and I cropped it in this long panel looking feel.
Like a panoramic almost?
Yeah, and had the moon set over in the right corner of the shot, and it was a whole different feeling, and I loved it. And I got a lot of good feedback on it. And I think it was because of just cropping it that way.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing else in the shot but the black sky and the moon.
Right.
You know.
Now, I tend so little story here, and it'll help Joey understand where I'm coming from, I think. When I first started shooting photography, not guns, I tended to shoot tight. In camera, I would shoot tight, and I did that for years. But what ended up happening is I would shoot tight, I'd get the picture I wanted, and then I'd look at it, I go, man, I kind of wish I could pull back or change it a little bit, but there wasn't anything left to cut because I'd already gone really tight. So I've actually learned through the School of Hard Knocks to shoot a little on the looser side and then crop exactly what I want. Cropping is just another tool. I view it as just another tool I use in post to get precisely what I want in the final product. I know some people make a big deal about getting it right in camera, and more power to you. But as an artist, I prefer to have the flexibility to change my mind when I'm looking at it on the screen.
Dude, those are the same people that say you're not supposed to post-process.
Oh, well, they're right. We won't go there.
Well, for what it's worth, to fill you in on my early days of shooting, I did not have zoom lenses, so because I was working mainly with point and shoot.
I had a 50 millimeter, man.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't even have that. I had, because I was using a point and shoot consumer grade camera with just a wide.
You were shooting with a pinhole camera with handmade glass film. Snow uphill both ways. I got it.
No, I was shooting with a Kodak DX2200 point and shoot camera, and the thing is that in those days, 2 megapixel camera, 3 megapixel camera, you couldn't crop it because if you cropped it, it looked like crap. I mean, it was no other way to look at it. It was just awful. So as a result, I have this natural. I had two things that have influenced my photography by starting with that kind of process. Is that one, I tend to shoot wider than other people do because I'm used to seeing my shots wider. And also, I tend not to crop because I'm not. When I started doing this, the old habit was that I didn't have enough, if you will, cropping room.
As a veteran of shooting with the Nikon 950 2.1 megapixel, I hear you about the not being able to crop the final product, but I'm also here to tell you that being stuck in the old ways really isn't always the best choice.
But I did walk uphill both ways to school in the morning.
There you go. Well, it's time for this old dog to learn a new trick, so I'm to it.
Yeah, and you're what, half again older than me, and you're telling me that I'm the older one? Way to make me feel young there, Sweeney.
Old age and treachery will always overcome youth and skill.
Thought it was youth and ignorance. Either way. So in an ultimate case of parallel thinking, Android Central right now is running their weekly photo contest. It was posted yesterday.
Yeah, isn't it Rust?
And it's Rust this week. So
we lead the way.
So I tell you what, if we really want to skew this, everybody that got more than 4 votes on one of their pictures, take that, go over to Android Central, and let's annoy people. And let's just say, we are the smartphone photographers, and we are Legion. Anyway.
Now, what I could do is I could take the picture with the iPhone and then take the picture of the picture with the Android, and that way it's an Android picture.
Boom. Done. Done. You've just been hacked.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. Mr. Shane Brady shared that in the community with the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. It's pretty damn funny though.
Mm-hmm.
You got to admit, what are the odds? They got to be astronomical. So I'm still trying to find out where you actually do the submission. But
you put your photo in the comment section with the link. They said very clearly, link it down here in the comments. I don't want to be running all over the internet trying to find your picture. So
gotcha.
Cool. And people will have to understand. I'm sure there is some terms of service in there. So if it's something that you don't want to throw away, you might want to read the terms.
Oh yeah.
But if it's just a throwaway shot, put it in there. You never know. You might get $50 for it. 50 shop Android bucks, that is.
Oh, Joey.
Yes, sir.
You might be interested. There is a complete set of EMD E9s in Houston right now. An ABA.
And have you shot them with your smartphone to keep it on topic?
Yep. I got some pictures. I got to put them up. It's the business train.
Nice.
Hey, King, I have a question for you, actually. You ordered the DXO1? Is that what
I've pre-ordered it.
Pre-ordered
It's not out yet.
Okay. When are they expecting that thing to be out in the wild?
the I'm hearing the next week the NDA's removed from it, so that means it should be out. Probably, they say sometime this fall.
Okay. We talked about that before. Joey, you want to see my screen here? Let's see here.
It's gonna be a neat. Andy and Nako showed it a little bit off again. It's gonna be a nice little unit.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what's the what are they going for, Mike King? What are they, price wise?
$4.99.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting idea. This is an idea I had a couple of years ago, though a different interpretation. And that is you make a decent camera, and then you run it off the iPhone using custom apps.
And also it saves it on the iPhone.
My idea was building something like a DSLR body where you slide the phone in. So this is just a slightly different interpretation of the same idea.
Yeah, what it uses the lightning connector. It uses your iPhone screen as the monitor, but it saves the pictures to the iPhone, if I'm not mistaken. And they're going to be coming in very high resolution. I think they're even supposed to be raw, something like that.
I think this is the biggest kicker on this, though. That number right there.
What, 1.8?
Mm-hmm.
No, the sensor size.
1-inch sensor.
The sensor size on there.
I'm all over that.
Yeah, refresh me, Sweeney. I know we talked about this. Was it last week? I think different sensor sizes.
Yeah.
But the iPhones are all in the decimals of an inch, right?
They're millimeters, dude. They're small.
Right.
They're
just
small.
like any of the
smartphones. Yeah.
Even though my office manager got his Note 5 in today.
Nice.
Wow. They take some nice pictures. Just don't put the stylus in wrong. It actually, they got a little problem with it. You can accidentally, and if you just have the phone, if you're doing this at night and you don't see what you're doing, you can actually put it in backwards, which will jam it in there. When you pull it out, it breaks your little sensor to allow you to write on the screen with this phone off.
That's a QA problem. Anyway, before we get out of here, Joey, I wanted to bring up the little concept last week with the My Editing. Where did it go?
Oh, yes, this would be one of our new features here in the Smartphone Photographers community, where we upload a photo that other people can download, re-edit, and then repost and discuss the results. Personally, I've sent in a few photos to Ant. What am I up over now? A dozen or so. I'm just using Ant at this point as off-site storage for all my not quite so great photos.
Pretty much, right? But this is this week's shot here that I asked you guys if you want to go ahead and take a whack at it. There you go.
Cool.
I shot this one while I was in San Francisco, and I actually have a few shots from this particular spot because he of course was moving around, so I got a couple different angles and a couple different looks, and I just like the whole idea of it with the water blast, and you get this sort of white mist at night, and I thought it came out pretty cool, but I haven't processed any of those shots. And I said, well, let's see what the community would do with it, But just be sure to, when you do put your touch on it, use the hashtag #myediting so we can find it easily. And, again, I'm going to try to put some of these up on the website, too, to give you guys your props.
I think it's extremely interesting that you're asking people to edit a photo artistically that was shot of the Art Institute of California.
Exactly. You caught that, huh?
Yeah, that is some kind of a circular.
You caught that, because I have another shot of that, and it was a tighter shot, and I deleted it because I did not have that in there. Good eye, bro. Good eye. What's this Sweeney sharing? Whoa.
So that composite was actually done on the iPhone in less than 30 seconds.
Nice.
So there's an app I'm having a whole lot of fun with. It's called ProLab or PhotoLab Pro. And they offer all kinds of tricks in compositing as a native application. There you go. And it's a kick in the butt to use, I have to say. You know, my daughter was saying, you know, I want to be an astronaut. So, like this, and, you know, 15 seconds later, I've got her in an astronaut suit, and she just about wet herself. This picture actually went to school on her phone. She was so excited.
That's pretty damn cool.
I've got another one, which I don't have posted yet, that has her in a main battle tank, wearing the armor and everything. It's very fun.
You want to hold on to that one and send that picture to the first boyfriend she brings home.
That's right. Although, I'll tell you what, she's the one, if anyone's going to be in the battle tank, it'll be her, because she's a Halo nut and actually does pretty well at it.
Wow.
Now, the next question is her name Sheila?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Jackson Lee.
Oh, come on. Please tell me somebody got the Sheila joke.
Yes and no.
Good. Okay.
Jeez. Goodness. All right.
M808V main battle tank. You may call me Sheila. Anyway, yeah. All right. So before we get into any more webcomic, before we get into any more webcomic references, next we'll be talking about Strong Bad, folks. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Mr. Sweeney?
Oh, we could talk about anyways, no, never mind. we could talk about the Ghost Tank and a few other things in comics, but
yeah, that's okay.
Only the Shadow knows.
That'll be for another
who
show.
remembers Jeb Stewart out of the comic books?
I didn't read. I feel bad. I missed out on a lot of the comic book stuff back in the days.
You need to have her in a chicken
so
walker.
The plot line of that was a battle tank, a Sherman battle tank, in World War II was actually haunted by Jeb Stewart. And the comic traced its adventures through the battlefield and near misses, you know, with the ghost leading the way, keeping the guys out of trouble. You know, the crew thought the commander was a total nutcase because he kept talking to something that nobody else could see.
Right.
Sweeney.
Yes, sir.
You need to put her in a chicken walker.
That could be fun.
Nerds.
Everybody knows what chicken walker is. Everybody knows what chicken walker is.
Everybody but me.
And me. You got me on that one.
Okay. Have you seen the movie Star Wars?
They didn't call it a chicken walker.
That's the two-legged one. It was a chicken walker.
Chicken walker.
I thought it was called an ST. Shit.
No, that's what the non-military people call it.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's
chicken
got
walker.
a nickname. You got fluffies. You got chicken walkers. Yeah.
That's the two-legged one that looks like a chicken walking.
I am now enlightened.
Take
us out of here, Joey. Good Lord.
Oh, good Lord. Before we get any more cockfighting going on.
Go fly snakes. You know?
Yeah, well, if we go any faster, this conversation is going to start to raise a rooster tail across the water.
I'm going to cry foul on you in a minute.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, no one's going to give a cluck.
May the farce be with you.
See what happens when you give up the control, Ant?
Oh,
What you don't see is Ant's over there madly hitting the keyboard trying to get control back.
Yeah.
Please figure this out.
I must say, I am the keeper of a greater magic, the Schwartz. Anyway, Mr. Pruitt, anything else you'd like to bring up briefly before we get out of here?
No, sir. Take us home.
Okay.
Okay, tap your heels together 3 times.
All right, Mr. King, anything else for you before we follow the Yellow Brick Road back to Sweeney's house?
Okay.
Where can we find your work, Sweeney? King?
By the way, oh my God, they went to Plaid.
They must have hyperjets on that thing. Well, what are we going to have here? Cuisinart!
Such a good movie.
Okay, so while King is having an attack, Mr. Ant, where can we find you online?
You can find me anywhere in the World Wide Web. Just search for Ant Pruitt, and it'll pull me up. You'll see at Pruitt.com. You'll see my Google Plus profile. You'll see my Twitter profile. You'll see smartphone-photographers.com, this community's website. Check me out there.
And Mr. King, having recovered from your attack, where can we find you online, sir?
Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and Flickr. Michael King 4023.
All right. And Mr. Sweeney, I'm presuming we'll find you at msmedia.me.
Yes, but you might want to look under my other name of Star-Lord.
Darth Sweeney. Oh, brother.
Yogurt.
This is
I
where
hate yogurt.
I'm done.
Even with strawberries.
Drops the mic.
I'm watching it right now. I got it on the back of my television.
I need drugs.
You can find me at www.msmedia.me.
Oh, wow. And I am Joey Kelley, Joey Kelley, KELLEY.com. You can find me just about anywhere, Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. I am out there. Just do a search for me. But my life is centered around Joey, Joey Kelley, KELLEY.com. So before we get out of here, I'd just like to thank everyone for not calling me Shirley. And that was another movie reference for those that were counting.
Yes.
Roger. Over.
Roger.
Under.
We have Clarence over.
That's Clarence.
I picked the wrong day to stop smoking.
I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
And for those that aren't watching, and has at this point given up and completely closed his eyes.
I'm in my happy place. I'm in my happy place.
You realize that you're going to go to bed tonight, have dreams of Thomas the Tank, yeah?
Oh,
All right, but we got to end this insanity. On behalf of the entire smartphone photographers community, Mike Sweeney, Mike King, and Ann Pruitt, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching Point and Shoot, the smartphone photographers community hangout. We would like to see you participate. Come on in, apply to join the group. See any of the other 3 people in this hangout. We ask that you have a profile with some pictures and that you actually be a human being, not a spam bot. Other than that, for myself, I'd like to thank everyone for looking, and we'll catch you all next week with a new challenge that I have to come up with.
That would be you.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks very much, folks. Have a great week, and happy shooting.